good day to you. My name is Fred Oakman, and as always with me today is Mr. Jake Peters. We are PS This Is Awesome, a PlayStation podcast. This is episode 197, and we share our feelings about the current state of PlayStation here on the show. But before we get on with it, I want to invite you all to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, youtube.com/PS This Is Awesome. Go visit us over at Twitter at PS This Is Awesome. And if you want to make fun of our trophy list, which we're going to talk about later on the show, you can find me at anchorless_81 and Mr. Jake Peters at jakesaw01. And as always, you can write the show at PS This Is Awesome at gmail.com. And most importantly, don't forget to share the show with your friends and make sure to leave comments and rate the podcast as you see fit. So as a reminder, this is a video podcast as well. You can go watch the show if you prefer over at our YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel where we're putting up content when we can, but you'll always get a weekly video podcast like this if you subscribe, and it will show up on your subscribe channels. So for new and or longtime listeners, we do have a Patreon where you can support our show at a $1 level called the One and Only $1 Club. So make sure you head over to www.patreon.com/PS This Is Awesome to become a $1 patron, and you can get a free die-cut vinyl sticker that way, a shout out on the show, and show a little bit of a $1 a month appreciation, throw us a little bit of scratch, and eventually we're going to put all of that to something relating to the show. So we would appreciate it. With that out of the way, Jake, how are you today?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
Tired. It's been a long day. I mean, this time of year, my work days are always long, so it's nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
But first day back after break, so it's going to be a little bit tiring.
Yeah. And we're a little late on the show, so if you don't follow us on Twitter, you didn't see our little message. And while we are, really going to try to get these out on time every weekend, post a show. Family comes first, holidays come first, loved ones comes first. Not that we don't love you all, but, we have to be family members as well. So, unfortunately, Jake and I both work full-time jobs, and this is a labor of love where we make very, 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 very nothing money. But we do appreciate the patrons we have, and we're going to dump that money back into the show somehow. So thank you. But yeah, so holiday breaks, holiday whatever, can't promise the show is going to be 100% on time, but we will do a show. That is the plan. So apologize for coming out a little bit late on this one. We're recording this Monday evening. We hope you all had a nice Thanksgiving. Everybody stayed safe and got to spend some time with their family members. Jake, I'm just so stressed after today at work. I can't bottle it in. Like before we started the show, I said I might just fucking vent for a second. So where I work, we have no in-house IT people, right? Not one person. Unfortunately, I know quite a bit about computers and technology, but I don't know enough to go into a fucking server room and like fix switches and shit. Like I'm not like that in tune with it. We do have a server room. Needless to say, I get into work this morning, and I'm the opener at our office. So I get in, disable the alarm, walk back to my office, and as I'm walking back there, I hear like a beep, 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 like that. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? So anyways, I get back, I kick my boots off, I put on my work shoes, because it's snowing here now, so I have to do the two shoe game. You go to work in boots, you have a pair of work shoes at the office, and you swap them out. So I kick off my boots, I put on my work shoes, I go find the source of the sound, and it's the fire alarm, and it had been faulted. It had been triggered at some point. So now I'm like in a little bit of a panic. Like, am I walking into the office is kind of big. Like, is there a fucking fire now? And of course my boss was actually scheduled off. And so I'm looking around, man. I'm like, what's going on here? And the fire alarm's actually real close to the server room. Needless to say, there's no fire. And it's such an outdated alarm. It's like got a panel, right? And it's got like an LCD display. And it says like O3 fault, fire, it's something really, really bizarre, right? And I was like, I don't even know what that means. Like, I don't know what this translates to. So my first thought is to get this thing fucking quit beeping, right? And I'm afraid it's gonna like call out to like the local fire department, and they're gonna show up or some shit, and there's no fire. So looking around, and I'm like, God, I don't even know how to shut this thing up. I've never used the fire alarm. So then I call my boss, of course, who has the day off, because what the fuck am I supposed to do? And she's like, I'm like, is there a way to like turn this thing off? And she's like, well, you need to get into the server room and make sure, because once in a while we've had some flood issues and we had some snow. So she's like, maybe there's some water in there, some water damage. Maybe something's going on behind that door. You got to get in there. And I had to remind her that my key, the only key I have for the office, is supposed to open the front door. Now, we have padlocks all around the building, right? And that's how we get in, security code, you get in. I can disarm the alarm, security code. My actual physical key should be a master key to every single door in the office. I've told people about it. They've never given me one. So it is only a key for the front door to lock up at the end of the day. And I don't even close anymore. So I told her, I said, listen, I don't have a key to get into the server room. I can't get in there. This is a terrible situation. So she's like, oh, here's where an extra key is. Go here, grab that, and then you can get in. And I'm thinking, thank God this isn't a real fucking fire, because this would be a disaster. I grab the key. I get into the server room. It's fine. There's no water anywhere. It's all locked up nice and tight. Everything looks nice and tidy. So I have no idea. In the meantime, there's an investigator at our office, and he's sitting across the way, and he goes, good luck logging in. And I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, I can't get logged into the server. The servers must be down or something. And I'm like, what? And we're coming in after a holiday. We had 4 days off. So I'm thinking, oh my God, like I just want to hit the ground running. So anyways, I'm like, all right, well, thanks for the heads up. He goes, yeah, my clock is 4 hours behind. I'm like, oh, we must have had a power surge then at like midnight or 1 or something, 2, whatever. They kick back on at, maybe 3, 4 o'clock or whatever in the morning. So I'm thinking, okay, so maybe a power surge like fuck some shit up. I still don't know how to restart these servers, because like it's like a real server room. There's like shit everywhere, stuff flashing, and like it looks like you're walking into a room in Dead Space or something. It's crazy. So needless to say, a few more calls with my boss, and she's like, well, go ahead and email so-and-so. And I'm like, well, I can't, because our servers are down. I can't get on the internet, and now our phones are all done through the internet. So I'm making work calls on my personal cell phone, which is kind of like you shouldn't do with what I do. I'm not going to get into what I do, but you shouldn't be doing that. Anyways, so I'm calling like IT and stuff from my personal cell phone. I'm like, hey, here's the deal. Shit's not working. So all day at work, I did absolutely nothing but communicate with the IT department that's supposed to come service this server, right? All day. And like I'm in charge of the room, the building, because the boss came in, but she got sick, yada yada yada. So I was there, left to deal with everything. Talking to this guy at Verizon, because I guess our whole thing is through them. And really nice guy, superb customer service. And he's getting the details from me, and he's like, hey, okay, I need you to look at the overture. I need you to look at the, this, look at the router, the modem. And I'm looking at all these things, and none of this shit's labeled, right? I can only assume that Cisco is the router, the thing that says Cisco, the thing's labeled Verizon or maybe modems or something. And he's like, okay, look at the back, look at this cord, follow it to this thing. What's the light show? And I'm trying to like fucking talk to him. Eventually he came up with what he thought was the issue. And he's like, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get a technician from Cisco out there. We're going to drop ship the part. It's going to show up today. We're going to expedite it. And I'm like, wow, you can get it here today? That's insane. Because I'm thinking about like, when we order shit online, like it takes like fucking longer than it should. And this guy I'm talking to, who's like the whole way across the state, is like, yeah, we'll get the part there by 2:30 today p.m. and the technician's going to show up today and fix it all, and you'll be good to go. And I'm like, all right, perfect. Yeah, if you say so, that's great. He gives me a ticket number. I write all the stuff down, text it to my boss. Granted, we had some people working from home in the office that this didn't affect, so we could still operate, but the unlucky few of us who are still in the office to hold the fort down just sat on our asses for all day, essentially. So I left at 3, and it's still, nothing had shown up yet by 3 o'clock. And I'd been on the phone multiple times with this guy from Verizon. He actually called me, and he goes, hey, I'm looking at the ticket I started with Cisco, and they're supposed to have their tech over there in the part, and it hasn't been updated. They should have been there a half hour ago. Are they there yet? And I'm like, I don't think we've signed him in. I can check with the front desk. I don't think any. He's like, well, you should have got a phone call. I was like, I didn't get a phone call. He's not here. And he was like, the guy from Verizon was pissed off. He's like, that's messed up, you know. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna get a hold of him, you know. And he's like, I'm gonna call those guys and see what the hell's going on. I'm like, all right, please, because we are out of order right now. And this is the trouble with technology, right? So I leave work. And I got a hold of one of the other supervisors in our office that closes things down. And I was like, hey, did the part ever show up? Did they ever fix it? Do I have to report to a different work site? Do I got to let the people that I supervise know not to come to the office because things aren't working? Like, where are we at? And she goes, no, the part came. The part came, but the technician never showed up. And I'm like, oh, fantastic. So we have a part, and we don't know that this actually is the issue in the room because no one's actually laid eyes on it but me over the phone with this guy. So hopefully I read the room right, literally. And this technician's supposed to show up at 8 in the morning tomorrow to install this new router, this new Cisco router that they think got fried. And if any of these variables are fucked, it's going to be another day of not getting anything done at work. And I think I'm going to be the one to blame because I fucking told the guy at Verizon the wrong info. I don't know. How could I be, right? Anyways, it's been a stressful day, man. Jeez. But these offices, right? When you run everything through a computer system and that server goes, dude, you are useless. You're useless. Like, we just got rid of our analog phones too, and we moved to like a Microsoft Teams phone system. It's all run through the internet. Yeah, dude,
it's gonna be a problem. Like, they're by they, I mean just society as a whole. The industry is going to have to figure out a way to have a redundant system if everything's going to be online. Because it's like, oh, if fucking Armstrong decides to take a shit that day, then, oh, guess what? You know, like, let's say all your emergency services are on fucking whatever.
That's
you know
what I'm driving at. Yeah.
It's a problem. So, like, now I know most of the stuff, even going back years now, most of the stuff that's like super like emergency, like military and stuff, it's all on like a military grade cell network that like is ultra redundant, and maybe like all of our internet and stuff will eventually be that, which would be fucking awesome.
It would be rad.
I'm sick of like the internet going down because a tree falls on the power line or something.
Or we get a snowstorm, right?
Or we get a snowstorm.
And there's a surge and something goes bad, which is I think what happened to us.
But yeah, it's pretty
we shouldn't
annoying because our phone system is like that too. It's kind of web based, and if we have an issue with our internet, then guess what? You don't have phones now. Pretty much all of us use our cell phones for work anyway, so it's not like a huge problem if our phone goes down. But at the same time, it's not like you guys where like your phone system is almost half of how you do business. Right. So, you know, it kind of needs to work. Now, judging by my previous conversations with you, it sounds like this isn't a common issue, but it doesn't need to be a common issue. If it happens once bad enough, it's like the PSN outage in 2011. If it happens once bad enough, it can really fuck shit up.
Well, yeah, and it sucks really bad, especially coming in off of a holiday, right? With what we do. So it's really disastrous. And dude, the crazy thing of it all is like, I guess I don't, like you said, there's got to be a better way. But at the same time, when things are working, things are fine. I don't know. There was something else I was going to touch on, but it's kind of losing me right now. It was about this whole thing with relying on technology and all of the issues that we have. But it's just interesting, you know, and I guess that's all I'm gonna say. It's just a lot of people rely on me, you know, and
it's part of being the big boy. That's what you get paid for. You get paid to be the responsible one.
Oh, and we handled it, but still, I mean, like, there's still only so much that's in your hands, right? Yeah, like, I can't make the fix. I can get the stuff in place to have it work and get everybody on call and get it going. And Jesus, when you're still sitting around waiting, my God, it's a long time. It's a long time sitting there. I don't know, like, I know some people would prefer to be at work and not have shit to do, But man, I'm the opposite. Like, give me as much as possible. And the reason, what I was going to say, the reason we can't use cell phones where it's confidentiality issues, so we're not really supposed to have them. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just a shit show, man. But let's talk about video games. Jake, you had a good Thanksgiving. I had a nice Thanksgiving. Ate more than I probably should have, and I'm vegetarian, and I still found plenty of food to eat, which is crazy. But yeah, I hope everybody out there had a nice Thanksgiving. Let's talk about some games. So usually we talk about the games we're playing. I'm still just slow dancing through Darkest Dungeon. I took on a new boss, and I had all these level 6s where you cap out with your characters, and I was like, man, I got this lady. I'm just gonna fucking go for it. And she's like a medium level boss, and I had to back out of the fight. I was going to lose people. I backed out because these are like my best people. And I was like, how the fuck? So now that I know how her attacks work, I got to kind of equip my people with different charms and stuff. But I am slowly getting through that. I did buy Resident Evil 3. It was like $15 or $18 Black Friday on the PSN. I mean, the remake, not like the the original. Man, these Resident Evil games, man, I can't wait to dive into Village. I loved 7. I loved 2. I think Village is going to be fantastic. I want to play 3. They got that Resident Evil movie that's coming out. I hear it's going to be shit, but I just like the series more than I ever have, and I don't know what it is. And then I've been playing a little bit of that PGA 2K21 golf game that we got. It's really fun. Man, it's so good, and it's what's weird about this game, though, the audio. So the audio commentary for the golf game, it sounds like they probably recorded it during the pandemic, because the audio quality of the announcer is like worse than our podcast. It sounds like somebody talking into like an on-stage, like the brand on-stage, like microphone that you get from like Walmart or something. Like, it's real muffled. Like, there's no pop filter. There's nothing. It's not clean. It just sounds kind of shitty. And it's like, man, did you guys not EQ this guy's voice, or are they trying to simulate? Are they trying to simulate like, when the golf announcers talk quietly when someone's about to, okay, he's on the 5th hole and lining up for a birdie. It's like that, but it sounds terrible. To me, it does. To my ear, it just sounds like it just sounds bad, man. It sounds like a cell phone audio recording or something. It's so weird. I mean, it's dynamic. It works good in that regard, but the quality of the audio just sounds off. And I was really taken back by it. I'm past it now, but if you get a chance to play it, tell me what you think of it. To me, it really stood out.
Yeah, that's really weird. Because you would think like a game like that, it's like a AAA game. Why, somebody in that design meeting has to be like, hey, the fucking audio sounds like shit in our game. Maybe we should fix it.
I mean, everything sounds good, but the announcer, like the guy that's like talking about what's happening, right?
I mean, it could be like you said.
Yeah, it's weird.
It could be that like, like part of the deal with the celebrity guy that was doing the voice is like, I have to record this at my house. I'm not fucking going for a video game. And so he just like is recording on like a pencil mic that came with the a Dell computer in 2000.
Yeah, some sort of weird USB mic that sucks.
Yeah, that sucks.
I mean, it's not. Maybe I'm being overly dramatic, but like being a musician, like I hear these things and I hear audio quality problems, and it's just glaring to me. But maybe I'm off though. Maybe I'm not right on this. Maybe I expect too much. I think my voice, the quality of my voice, sounds better than their video game announcer on the podcast. And it's ridiculous to me. Like, there's just no EQ, there's no compression, there's no pop filter. It just sounds so dry and flat and weird. I don't know. You should power it up just to listen to it. This is a free PS Plus game, I think, in like September or something? I think maybe.
Yeah.
I like the game. It was recent. Yeah, to be clear, I like the game a lot. I'm really enjoying it. I'm like the putt master in this game. I'm not very good at always getting a nice drive or a good approach shot, but when I'm on that green, buddy, I'm always one putting or two putting, and I've been able to create a character that does really well. So you need to get this game, man. Download it. It's fun. What are you playing, man? What are you doing? What are you into?
So I was playing some more of Forza Horizon 5, which you're talking about sound quality. The sound in Forza is awesome, dude. I will say, and I'll shut up about this game because I know
it's
strictly Xbox or PlayStation people can't play it, but you know how games have like where you're like driving games and stuff we usually have, or like Grand Theft Auto or whatever, they'll have like a radio.
Yeah.
And then like you can switch the channels, and then, you know, each channel is like a different type of, you know, genre of music or whatever. And then they have like fake radio DJs on them or whatever.
Yeah.
This game has the most impressive fucking radio for cars that I've ever heard in my entire life. Like the no matter what channel you're on, all of the DJs on all the radio stations they fit the genre of the station. So there's like a classical station and like the DJ is like talks with like is like soft spoken and really hoity toity sounding.
Yeah, like but NPR or something.
But like sounds like it sounds real. Like this doesn't sound like something. It sounds like a real.
It's not
radio
satirical.
Like it's not like Grand Theft Auto where it's like super satirical and like over the top. Like it sounds legit. But like the cool thing about it is when you're doing stuff in the game, like because the whole idea of Forza Horizon is like this big car festival where all these cars like show up and do all this racing and do all this crazy shit. And the thing that makes it really impressive is that when you're doing like random things throughout the like missions and stuff throughout the game, when you have the radio turned on, like these various announcers will just start commenting on the things that you have done as like the superstar driver this event. And like, it's all like based on the things that you've been doing, and it's all super organic,
like dynamic and stuff. Yeah,
dude, it's really impressive just from like, you know, it's one of those things that you just kind of takes you off guard, is like something you never like, because that's really transparent in most games.
Yeah.
When there's like a radio in a car, or like music that you can change or whatever, like most people, it's like, okay, that's cool. Like, you know, it sounds good enough that I don't think about it, but I'm not like, oh, this is awesome. And like you know, as a musician, it takes a lot to impress me when it comes to like audio and music and like presentation in a game. Just because it's so easy to like see the glaring mistakes, like you're talking about with audio quality is one, or like audio dynamics is another one that drives me fucking crazy. When it's too loud for a certain scene, or like it's not like, and you can't adjust it and stuff like that drives me bonkers just from a recording perspective. But like, this was just an example of, this is like, I would say probably one of maybe a half a dozen examples where I could say like an audio component of a game has really like stood out and had me be like, whoa, this is fucking awesome. You know, like other examples are like, you know, generally it's soundtracks, right? You know, like, you know, game soundtracks that are really good. Something like,
I heard the Guardians of the Galaxy, the new game that came out, the soundtrack's amazing.
Yeah, so I haven't played it.
Sorry, go ahead.
I haven't played it, but I heard it's good. But you know, you think about something like The Last of Us soundtrack, right? I mean, it's not like, what's that?
Doom.
Oh yeah, like Doom soundtrack. Like they just captured the game so well with the soundtrack. Skyrim is another example, but like this is an example of like where the soundtrack is sort of whatever you want it to be. You just pick the genre, the channel that you like, but just the presentation of it with the DJs and like all of the stuff that they do and they shove into it, and how it's organic is just really just on point for me.
Same topic. That game that I played a while back, Golf Club Wasteland, very similar, even though it was like a fake radio that played in the background. Very rad the way they did it. So I'm sure it's not Forza like quality, but it played into the game. It elevated the game. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it honestly, you don't realize how much music makes a difference until you realize how much it makes a difference. Like it's like if you don't notice it, it's doing its job. But if you do notice it, it's for one of two reasons. Either it's fucking bad or it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Those are but if it's doing its job, you really don't hardly ever notice it. But anyway, so enough about Forza. The other game that I'm playing is I've been playing Skyrim Anniversary Edition.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really have a whole lot to say. So I've been playing the PS5 port of Skyrim.
Okay.
And I'm not that far into it, but I mean, it's Skyrim. I mean, there's nothing really special. That game's like a heated blanket for me. Like, do you know what I mean? Like there are just games that are like, they're like a, like a heated blanket. Or like a,
I like how you tried to make a metaphor.
Cup of hot chocolate in wintertime.
And you said the same
where it's
thing.
Like,
it's like a heated blanket. It's like a heated blanket. It's like, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But like
comfort. It's like comfort food.
Sure. Yeah. Like it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I understand. This game isn't at this point, it's fucking wore out, and it's not that big of a deal. The Anniversary Edition is whatever. Like, okay, I can fucking find wild horses and I can go fishing now. But like, and I have some extra quests, but it's still Skyrim. Like, there's nothing special about it. They didn't fix it. They didn't fix like some of the jankiness of it or anything. But it was just like Saturday and Sunday, and I guess Friday too. Like, it was just snowing outside. And it was cold, and I didn't want to do anything, and I was just sitting at home, and I just booted this up. I didn't play a lot, but like just sitting there, it was just, I mean, it was like one of those feel good kind of things. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And honestly, I'm just playing it right now until next Wednesday, which is the 8th, is when Halo Infinite comes out. Mm-hmm. I want to play that, and then as soon as I'm done with that, I'm going to start Mass Effect, the first one.
Okay, you got to let me know when you start. That way I know when to start.
Yeah, so as soon as I'm done with Halo Infinite, which I imagine will take, depending on how long the campaign is, maybe 2 to 3 weeks, unless I get like fucking hardcore into it and I'm playing it for like 5 hours a day or something. But like, just because I play games slow, it'll probably take me 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, let me know.
But yeah, I'm just kind of playing Skyrim as like a filler until then, because I didn't want to start Mass Effect and then jump out to play Halo and then jump back to Mass Effect and have to remember where I'm at and all this stuff. So, yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I don't remember if Mass Effect has difficulty settings, but just for the sake of my sanity and because of like how much time it's going to take to get through all 3 of them, I'm just going to play them all on easy probably. Because I don't care about any of that. I just care about the story, really. Yeah. And the character development, which I can do. There's no reason for me not to just fucking blast through the game as far as, the combat is concerned.
Let's touch on that real quick. And I agree 100%. Yeah. But how bad does it piss you off when you pick? See, I think the reason why I always played games on regular difficulty is because I knew some games, if you played them on easy difficulty, they would cut the game short and be like, well, apparently you're not ready to play the final level, so come back and switch the difficulty to medium, and then we'll let you play the rest of the game.
What are you talking about? What
You've never seen games that do... Oh, they used to do it all the time. They used to do it all the time. Welcome to the PS This Is Awesome Patreon page. For those of you that don't know, my name is Fred Oakman.
And I'm Jake Peters.
And we're a PlayStation podcast currently in our 10th year. Our first episode aired in July of 2012, where we discussed and speculated on the arrival of the PS4. Over the years, we've used this podcast to take a break from adulting, share our love of video games, and in particular, PlayStation.
The audio podcast is available on all major streaming services, and we have recently made the leap to uploading video content and video podcasting to our YouTube channel, as well as the very occasional Twitter post or live stream. Over the years, we have covered everything from PS3 to PS Vita through the launches of PS4, PSVR, and now PS5. As our audience has grown over the years, we have decided to start this Patreon with the hopes of creating a medium in which we can give you the opportunity to help support our show.
And as a test bed, we're starting with a single tier. It's called the one and only $1 Club. So with your support at the $1 level, we're going to mail you a premium vinyl cut sticker and give you a shout out on the podcast. But at this time, unfortunately, we can only ship to the US and Canada. But this is subject to change depending on your interest.
So whether you're new to the show or you're a frequent flyer, we are forever thankful for your support and hope you can find it in your little gaming heart to join us in the one and only $1 club. Until next time, like PlayStation, podcasting, and Patreon, P.S. This is awesome.
Like PC games and stuff, like games like Doom or like games like those kind of the id Software games, they'd be like
Doom didn't do that.
Oh dude, there were games. Hold on. By the way, when you find wild horses in Skyrim, do the Rolling Stones play?
No,
wild horses. Yeah, it'd be so good. That'd be so rad.
No, but I honestly, like, at this point, there's two reasons why I'm okay with playing this on easy. One is because I don't have the ego anymore. Mm-hmm. You know, like I will, if I am playing a new game, and I will always play it on regular or normal or medium or whatever the fuck it is that is like the developer's intended setting. But if it's something like this where like I've got a long slog, I've played the games before, I'm just going to play it on easy, and because I just want to I care about the story. I don't care about the combat in Mass Effect. I mean, it's good in 2 and 3. It's good, and I hear they fixed it in 1. But like, to me, Mass Effect 1 is more about getting to Mass Effect 2. So I and mostly just to like get my character to progress and and all that. So I don't, and plus I have so little time to play as it is that I don't want to take a 90-hour experience and make it into a 150-hour experience because I am beating my head against the wall. And some guys are like, oh, I want to play it on hard, or I want to play it on, extra hard or whatever. There are games where I think it's necessary. Like to give you an example, I personally think The Last of Us Part 1, the way that game should be played is on survivor difficulty. Because I think it just drives the game. I think it drives the theme of the game home so much more than playing it on easy or even normal difficulty. Because in normal, you've got like, it's just super grounded, like even though it's like a little bit sci-fi, but it's like pretty grounded. But like you have this like superpower that you can like hear shit and stuff. Like, but if you play it on Survivor, it's like the resources are really scarce. So, it's like you would imagine it would be if you were really in this scenario. Plus you don't have that like super hearing ability. So you have to be a lot more careful about how you approach the world. So I think that it really adds something there. But if you're talking about a game like, I don't know, fucking Uncharted, right? Okay. Like the first Uncharted game on Crushing is like one of the most tormenting experiences I've ever had in video games. Uncharted 1 on Crushing is fucking impossible. And I beat it. I did get there, but it was really hard. Yeah. 2 and 3 weren't quite as bad, but 1 was really fucking hard. And I just don't like, I think that if you want to do it, like I'll be fucking impressed if you can beat like Doom on the highest difficulty or whatever. Yeah.
But good
like
luck.
on nightmare mode or whatever the fuck it is. But like that doesn't mean that shouldn't mean that I'm any less of a gamer because I don't want to play it on the hardest difficulty. So or even I shouldn't be considered less of a gamer because I don't have as much time and I only care about the story, so I want to play it on easy.
Or you just want to sit down and enjoy it.
Sure. And one of the things I appreciate about games now is that they're starting to label the easy mode in their games like story mode
instead of easy.
Yeah. Instead of calling it easy, they're calling it like story mode or whatever. You know what I mean? Something that kind of indicates that this is a mode more for people who just want to absorb the story and learn the characters, and they don't necessarily want to, fight the same fucking horde of enemies 15 times because they can't figure out or they're not as competent as a first-person shooter.
Again, this is old men talking to young kids.
Fucking
no, but hear me out. So I'm on because I wanted
kids.
Because you saying that games don't cut off parts of the game if you go play on easy. I'm like, I know for a fact they have, and they have to me, and it's like damaged me for life because it's why I don't play on easy anymore. So I went online and I just found an article by Games Radar. It was posted in 2016, and it says games that treat you like dirt for playing on easy mode. The very first picture, but my example does surface in here. The first example they show is Wolfenstein, and it says, very easy mode, can I play daddy? And it's the character with a bonnet and a sucker in his mouth. And so it's taunting you for playing it easy. So it just makes you say, okay, well, fuck you. Then I'll play on Don't Hurt Me then. So another thing is Metal Gear Solid 5, if you die enough times, apparently they give you a hat that is a chicken. And if you wear it, you're spotted less easily. So you have to walk around with this shameful fucking hat on, which is actually hilarious.
But the examples that you're giving, though,
those are funny. They're funny.
They're funny.
They're
like taste. It's in good fun, but, right? It's not like, but you're talking about cutting content.
So here we go.
Easy.
Mickey Mouse Castle of Illusion. It says. Okay. It says the art. I'm reading it verbatim, word for word, what they wrote in the article here, and this is by David Roberts for Games Radar 2016. Easy modes are supposed to be there to let less experienced players enjoy that incredibly expensive game they just bought, but sometimes they become a sick joke in themselves by removing huge chunks of gameplay, then encouraging players to take on a harder mode. Mickey Mouse Castle of Illusion is by far the worst offender. Normally, each world of Castle of Illusion contains a handful of individual levels, each world capped by a boss at the end. If you choose practice mode, you get to play a total of 3 of those levels, and you don't even get to fight any bosses. Once you finish them, you simply walk right past the final boss and rescue Minnie Mouse, and the game proclaiming that you should now try a harder difficulty to enjoy the full experience. Worst of all, each level is a total cakewalk and doesn't even prepare you for the challenges you actually have to face on normal mode. At this point, why even bother? And it has the line, it has a screen grab. It says, "Good job, you saved Minnie from the evil witch. Now test your skills with the normal option. There are many new and exciting levels ahead." So that's an example. And then this is the example that I figured it out. Well, this one's funny. Monkey Island 2, on the back of the box, they were like promoting that they have like a light version, like an easy version. And it says, light mode is for beginners and magazine reviewers, which was like a dig towards game journalists at the time because they weren't actually like real gamers.
That's funny.
But then the one that really is the one, and I know this is the game because you guys have heard me talk about Streets of Rage and how much I love it. Streets of Rage 3. It says, if you don't want to actually finish the game, if you beat Robot X at the end of Stage 5 on easy mode, he taunts you, proclaiming that you play like a beginner. The game then resets, locking you out of the last third of the game. So it says, that's right, the game won't let you see the last 2 stages of the game because you're playing on the original Japanese normal difficulty, because when it was imported and crossed over, their normal is our easy. So if you play it on easy,
that's interesting.
Oh, it's so frustrating.
You know, I will say that, like, after you started talking, I did kind of realize that it's not as egregious as the Streets of Rage thing. But if you play, there are a lot of games, have historically been a lot of games that if you play it on the easiest difficulty, it just straight up locks you out of earning trophies.
Oh, that's interesting too. Yeah.
It will, you know, you all either, there are games where there's like a story mode where you just straight up don't earn any trophies. And then there are games where it's like, if it's easy, there are certain trophies that you can't earn because you didn't accomplish some specific task. Right. So it's, we made a whole topic.
We made an entire show talking. This would have been a great topic to research and talk about.
So I will say that I'm 100% for games like Wolfenstein and Metal Gear Solid. What they did, But I am totally against the idea of cutting content.
Right, that's
for being
ridiculous.
uneasy.
You paid for the game, right?
It's one thing for the developer to poke fun at you and be like, "Hey,
now you got to wear a dunce hat." Yeah, right.
Yeah, don't be a wimp, like, or whatever. Like I'm sure that's probably not PC nowadays, but like, I think it's funny, right? Like, I, as a gamer, would think it's funny being bad at the game, and they like make you run around with a dunce cap on. Yeah. But like,
you shrug it off, right? Yeah. It'd be like walking into a bar and getting made fun of by your friends. It's like, all right, yeah, you're right. I fucked up. I struck out in the last inning. Yeah, you get back from a baseball game. They're giving you shit.
So, but anyway, but at the same time, it's like I said, I think that it should be acceptable for us to be able to,
enjoy the whole
games, to be able to enjoy maybe like, because there are times where, because I'll be honest with you, probably every couple years I'll play through the Uncharted trilogy and just kind of because I like the story and everything.
Good. It's so good.
And I just play it on like the easiest fucking difficulty.
Yeah.
And I just blast through the game, just fucking kill everybody, beat the whole game in like 6 hours.
And it's fun.
And I'm just like, because I want to see the story. Like, it's like watching a movie over again, but I'm playing the in between parts.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to, I did the hard stuff. I beat it on crushing. Like, now I just want to fucking play through it and see the story again. So anyway, the digressions should be made at this point.
Well, there's bonus content for the listeners there for being late. So we had a huge discussion. That's a behind the scenes conversation between Jake and I. But you got treated. That's what makes the show so beautiful, I think, is we just get on these tangents and we don't really stick to a script.
Do a mini-sode for the patrons. It's like the best game we played on easy.
Yeah. A game. Yeah. Like, what game would you rather play on easy than normal, right? Those are conversations. Or what game do you think you should play on a more difficult level to get the most out of the game? Like some of those survival horrors, playing on a more difficult game with limited ammo, you might get more from the game that way. It's a cool conversation topic. Let's get into the news here, Jake. PS Plus games for December have been announced, and the list looks okay. These always get leaked early. Now it's kind of strange. We always see these leaked before Sony announces them. But so Godfall, PS5 game, is going to be a December PS Plus game, and Mortal Shell, which I hear is pretty okay. And then the one that I think honestly is like the underdog, but the one that I think is probably going to get the most downloads and the most enjoyment out of most of the PlayStation is Lego DC Supervillains. Those Lego games are really fun, man. They really are. And
they're good.
You can't really die. Speaking of difficulty, you can't. I mean, you die and just come right back where you are. So, yeah,
that's what. That's that TT Games company. I think WB owns them.
Yeah. So that's a nice little lineup.
This Mortal Shell game looks fucking weird. Yeah. Is it like a Souls-like game?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I've seen the name a ton of times, looking through news and stuff. And it's got an 8 out of 10 on review from IGN, and it's sitting around 80 out of 100 as far as reviews. It says Mortal Shell's an action. This is from the wiki, I believe. Action role-playing video game developed by Cold Symmetry and published by PlayStack. It was released on August 18th, 2020 for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Microsoft Windows. A remastered version titled Mortal Shell Enhanced Edition was released on March 4th, 2021 for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. So it's an action role-playing game, and it was nominated for the Best Debut Indie Game. So
it looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, it does look rad.
I might have to download this.
Well, yeah. I mean, but where are we going to find time to play these fucking games?
Yeah, I mean, I might just download it and dabble, but it does look like... I don't know anything about the gameplay, but visually it looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks kind of like that old Deep Down trailer we got when they announced PS4. It looks cool like that, like over the shoulder, like medieval, like that kind of vibe. It looks cool as shit. But I think the Lego DC Supervillains is the sleeper game here out of these three. I think that one's a good one to play.
I don't even know if I'd call it a sleeper game, but it's probably it's probably the most. Well, what would you say? It's probably the safest bet as far as what is the what is the best game
It's a safe bet for sure. Those later
Quality
games are
wise.
fun. Yeah. Well, hey, here's the deal. We know the PS Vita store is not getting updated any longer. Servers are being terminated for Soul Sacrifice and Freedom Wars. They're both losing their server support on Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2021. So they're cutting the servers, and those games are very online based. So that's interesting. So, I mean, it's probably just saving money. They're probably just cutting costs. And then there's not really a whole lot to say about that. I still have my Vita. Jake, you still have yours, and it works fine?
Yeah, it seems to. I mean, I only play it rarely, but it does seem like it's good.
I did an OLED screen replacement on mine not long ago, and turned out great.
Yeah, mine still works good. So
yeah.
I can't complain, although I don't use it very much. They're just not. I mean,
it's a great little RPG system for like old.
There's so many games that I wish were Vita games that are not. Like, there are a lot of these games that I would love to play on Vita that I just can't.
That Killzone game was amazing on Vita.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing that sucks about it, though, is like I went and played Mercenary on my Vita. That was actually the last thing I played on my Vita. The problem is that, like, I played Mercenary on my Vita after I had started playing FPS games at 60 frames on PS5. So, like, to go to play Mercenary on Vita where it's literally running at, like, 24 frames a second or something like that, or it's pretty bad. Like, it feels very sluggish,
weird,
and laggy by comparison. But it's impressive that they got something like that running on Vita. So
it is a good game.
It seems legit, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Housemark, they tweeted a picture of an unknown image that appears to be from the Returnal world. What's it called? Apropius? What's it called? What's that world called?
Atropos.
Yeah. Thank you. I didn't put it in the notes, but I haven't played Returnal either. But there's lots of speculation surrounding their tweet, Jake, and in the notes I have the picture. You can see it there. The tweet has caused many to wonder if Housemark are in fact hinting at some sort of DLC for Returnal, which they have been historically known to support a lot of their releases with DLC. So I would not be surprised if we get some sort of official announcement sometime soon. I still really want to play this game, but the deals weren't as good on it as I wanted them to be this Black Friday, so I passed.
I will tell everybody listening to the podcast right now, if you have not played Returnal, one, I think you should, because I fucking love it. But two, I almost guarantee you that sometime within the next year to 2 years, it's going to be a PS Plus game. So if you're not that anxious to play it, just wait. You'll get it for free. So that's my opinion on it. At the very least, it's going to end up on the PS Plus collection at some point.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I wouldn't really. I mean, it might take a couple years, but if you're not anxious to play it, when it does come, definitely play it if you can get it for free with your subscription, because
worth dipping your toes in.
I do believe that even though I struggled and even though I had frustration and there's a lot of stuff about it that I didn't particularly care for, I still occasionally get the call to like go back and play it again. Like I think my feelings on Returnal are what I imagine a lot of people feel whenever they talk about like loving a game like Dark Souls.
Okay, interesting.
Where it's like, you know, they're like the challenge, it beats you into the ground, and then you get to a point where you understand the game and then you fall in love with it. And while I never got there with Bloodborne or Demon Souls or whatever, at least not enough to be able to finish those games.
Yeah.
I did get there with Returnal, and I did beat Returnal. So
you said it got essentially way easier after like the second or third act or something.
So the third, they call them biomes in Returnal.
That's right.
But the third world basically is the fucking hardest by far, in my personal opinion. The last one is a little bit of a little challenge, but
yeah.
The third one, just in terms of like your ability of, because basically the way the game works is as you progress, you start unlocking new weapons, and as you use them and unlock them, now you can find them from the start of the game after you've unlocked them. Well, once you get to like the third world, you start unlocking some of like the better weapons, and you start leveling the weapons up as you die and stuff. And then you just start to understand, for me, the turnkey as far as like how to make this game fucking easy. And I say easy in quotes because it's still hard as shit, is the, I don't remember the exact name, but it's the pylon driver, where you shoot these fucking pylons and they make like these web of like lasers that just fucking kill everything that come inside of them.
Yeah.
And sorry, no pun intended. And I don't think it's a pun. Innuendo. My apologies.
Yeah. I knew what you meant.
But we don't have to. Hockey jersey. We don't have to go deep onto that.
No, you're good.
But yeah, so reeling it back into the news, if it is DLC, I'm excited, and I would like to think that I would play it, but Returnal is one of those games where it's a skill. You know what I mean? Where like, if I jump back into it, I gotta like learn how to play it again. Like you gotta get the touch back. It's not like you can just quit playing it. It's like an old arcade game. Right, you get fucking good at Galaga, or Galaga,
or like pinball, even though,
or pinball. Yeah, you got that timing. You know what to expect. Like you know the field, you know the enemies, you know how to do the thing. But then you leave, you go away. You haven't played it for a year and a half, 2 years, and you come back in. You're like, fuck, I'm rusty. I gotta play for a while to get back into this. You'll pick it up, but it takes a bit of time.
It's a travesty.
I'm curious. But I am curious what this is, for sure.
Yeah. Dude, you know what we're going to get into some of our platinum trophies later on the show, and while Jake's talking, if you're seeing me not look into the screen, I'm listening to him, but I'm also going through my trophies so I can type them in. But I thought I platinum Soma. It says I have 100% of the trophies, but
there probably isn't a platinum.
There's just one trophy for Soma, apparently?
I don't think there's a platinum for Soma.
No, you're right.
Some of those downloadable games don't have platinums.
That's a shame because Soma's fucking fantastic. Sorry,
it's so good.
I'm derailing the podcast. I'm very good at this today, folks. Very good.
Next news point.
Yeah, Jake, what is it? Just say something about it, and I'll chime in while I'm looking at this.
If you're into turn-based strategy games like XCOM, there's a game set in the Mafia universe that is called Empire of Sin.
Have you heard
I don't know
of
that
this?
We've talked about this game on the podcast.
No, we haven't.
So apparently it's got some pretty sizable content coming soon. So if you're interested in that type of game, and when we say is it actually set in the universe of like the Mafia games, or is it just a Mafia?
No. It's not set inside the world of Mafia the game. It's just that is the it's like a period piece.
The theme.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've actually heard that even though there's some things about this game that are frustrating, I've heard that it's a pretty fun romp.
I'm liking these turn-based strategy games, and I'm still waiting for the XCOM Chimera Legion to come to PlayStation. That was like the newer one they came out with, and it never made it, and it's not available on Steam for Mac. So I haven't been...
Chimera Squad?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. As far as I know, it's not available yet on PlayStation. And it's so frustrating because it's one of those games, and like, you know, I've beaten XCOM 2, I've beaten XCOM 1. I really dig that challenge. And I really dig like the whole above overhead strategy. Like, you know, it's just kind of fun. I don't know. But yeah, this game kind of caught my eye when I was kind of looking through some of the news points. They were talking how this was getting additional content or something. I was like, what the hell is this game? I've never heard of it. And then I looked into it and I was like, I'll let the listeners know this thing exists, because I feel like we're lacking in the PlayStation universe really good turn-based strategy games. The Banner Saga was fantastic for that. I love that game, and there's 3 of those. So the Banner Saga trilogy is a set of games I would recommend that are kind of like a turn-based strategy. And it's your characters can die. It's like permanent death and stuff. And I like that level of playing for keeps in a game, as long as it's not like you have to restart all your progress. So that's kind of like Darkest Dungeon as well. Like you build these characters up, and you have many to choose from. You send them into battle, and one of them might die, right? And with Banner Saga, those characters have dialogue. So when they die, the story shifts a little bit, and there's so many characters. It's really incredible. The decision tree and stuff in that game probably really kind of cool. And it's not even really a decision tree. They do have decisions, but when characters die, it alters everything. So anyways, yeah. All right. So I'm still looking through my trophies. Jake, do we have any more news points?
Yeah. So you have something here about
making Jake do the dirty work.
A write-up on the PlayStation blog about The Last of Us Part 2's guitar.
Yeah. There's a yeah, it's so good. Go ahead.
Yeah, and there's a write-up that links to a GDC conference that was posted on YouTube in August that is about 30 minutes, and it talks about the guitar mechanic in The Last of Us and how they dialed that in. It's pretty cool. I mean, I imagine there's probably a little bit of extra interest from someone like you or I who plays an instrument. So there's a little bit of intrigue there as far as like how do you sort of map that to a video game controller,
right? And the GDC video that they posted was the article is really a quick read if you want to read that. If you enjoyed how they implemented Ellie and Joel's connection with a guitar in The Last of Us Part 2, it's actually really interesting the decisions that they made. Like, do we make it interactive? Do we make it a mini game? How do we do this in such a way that it doesn't remove the player from feeling invested in the story and it turns into like a side thing, right? Like, how do they integrate it in such a natural way? And they talk about decisions they made and how they did their original button mappings and how they were going to make the guitar work and stuff, and where they started and where they ended up. And it's just such a cool thing. I remember when this guitar feature came out, there were people actually playing other people's songs with strumming on the DualShock, and they were making the sounds, and then they were singing, like the real person, the gamer would be singing the song using the digital guitar. It was really incredible. It was really something else. And then there were some people that were actually just playing songs that were really identifiable on Ellie's guitar that you had the option to do. It was a that's something I'd like to go back and actually get good at. I was joking briefly when I started playing that game was I was going to play one of my songs on Ellie's guitar and record it. And just record the audio from the guitar and then go down to the studio and master it so it sounds really nice, and then do some vocals on top of it with like my studio setup and see what it sounded like, just for like a test bed for like a fun project. Now, granted, you probably won't be able to sell anything like that because it's their sound. I don't know. I wouldn't even venture to go into that territory, but it would be kind of cool to post. I'm sure you could post it and as long as it's not monetized. Even if it's monetized, maybe you could, but shit, I'm not monetizing anything on YouTube because you got to have 1,000 subscribers to even monetize your videos. So, but I thought it was a really cool mechanic and a really interesting blog write-up. And again, this harkens back to things what I've been telling you listeners. The PlayStation blog has really picked it up as far as content, and it's really, really interesting, the stuff that just pops up on there. They had some stuff on Horizon, how they're trying to make the environments more realistic and all this nonsense. And this thing about The Last of Us guitar I thought was really interesting. All right, I think I'm through my games, so I can jump back into the news. Sorry, Jake. I didn't mean to hit you with all that at once. Do you have any input on this guitar thing? Did you watch that GDC video? Or are you going to?
I have not watched it yet, but I probably will check it out. It sounds pretty interesting. I've seen some videos of people playing some ridiculous shit like Metallica's Nothing Else Matters on fucking The Last of Us guitar. Like, it's pretty impressive.
Fucking playing Tears in Heaven. I don't think you can get that detailed on it, but it uses the touchpad is the way that it works. And you can pick out individual strings by where you put your finger on the touchpad. And it's really interesting. All right, so moving on from that, Witcher 3, the PS5 upgrade now has been targeted to Q2 of 2022. We might have touched on this. We knew it was going to be 2022, but I don't think we knew what quarter. So now they pushed it out to Q2 2022. It's going to be a free upgrade if you own The Witcher 3, and I am so excited about Witcher stuff. We've got the new Netflix season coming out here in December. If you're a fan of the first season, if you're a fan of the books, if you like the games, man, what a great, if you like Gwent, Thronebreaker, all that stuff, it's so good. I'm feeling Witcher right now. I'm feeling it. So I wanted to put that on the, man, is this a game you would jump back into, Jake, on the PS5 upgrade or no? It's too much game.
Maybe.
Right?
Maybe. I mean, it's been
4 years,
a while.
5 years.
Problem is just that game is so long. Like I think it took me, and I didn't even do a lot of the side quests, and I think it took me 90 hours to beat that game. So I think that I might jump back in. I honestly, the only reason why I would jump back in is because I know Sarah is interested in watching me play it, because she's been really enjoying the Witcher books and she's curious about how the game sort of adapted that. But I have no, I always say that I have interest in going back, but I don't know if you will really or not. You know, it's tough to say. I imagine at some point I'll find myself playing it again, but I don't know if it'll be soon.
Yeah, it's a lot, right? There's just a lot to it. Anywho, hey, no big deal. And then lastly, a rumor came around that Bioshock, a new Bioshock game, Bioshock 4 technically, is being titled Bioshock Isolation, not to be confused with Alien Isolation. It's a weird subtitle, but maybe inspired. Wow, maybe the crew behind it were like, well, we're isolated, we're making this thing in COVID times, maybe we'll just call it Bioshock Isolation. Who knows? But it's taking place in a new dystopian city. Apparently, this is leaked via Twitter. I forget, by Leaks or something was the title of the people who leaked it, and they also posted an image of what could be the logo for the new game. So how far they're into this, who knows? Who knows if it's all true? It does sound like there's some credibility to it. I don't know. I haven't played Bioshock 2 yet. I have played 1 and 3 now, and I know, Jake, you said I should definitely give 2 a shot as well.
Yeah, it's good. It's not as good as 1 and Infinite, but it's still a very good game. I did see that they're saying that it might have been leaked that they'll announce it in Q1 of next year, which would be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Because those 3 games, I'll be honest, I mean, I would say that 2 is very good, but Bioshock and, to a slightly lesser extent, Bioshock Infinite are literally, I'm not even joking, 2 of the best games ever made. So I am intimately curious about what the next game is going to be, seeing that Ken Levine is not involved. Now, Ken Levine wasn't really involved in 2, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he actually kind of almost disowned Bioshock 2. So, but it was still a good game. So I'm hoping that whoever comes up with the next Bioshock is able to kind of pull off something similar, where it's still a very good game, even if it maybe doesn't have that Ken Levine sort of rubber stamp of writing and creativity. But I don't know. I am excited regardless. I don't know what this means. I don't know if Bioshock in space, maybe. I don't fucking know. But we kind of got that with Prey. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they come up with. I mean, this is always going to be one of those things that people are going to be curious about. We've been waiting for a long time to see what the next, what is 2K going to do with Bioshock now that Ken Levine's not involved anymore? Yeah, and is it going to even be worth playing? Because this game is going to be under a fucking microscope. It's like one of those games Half-Life 3 or something, where it's like, is there even any possibility that this game lives up to expectations?
It's probably how. How is it? You know what I mean? How could it? I just don't know. But I mean, we've been surprised before, right? We just need to set our expectations at an appropriate level for a game like this, knowing what we're walking into, I think. Right. So I don't know. And that's it for the news. So that was a good little list of news. What I wanted to talk about briefly going into 2022, I thought it would be kind of fun to look at where our platinum trophies are at right now. We get some listeners write in, specifically Mr. LJ will write me every once in a while and tell me games that he's working towards the platinum on, and he usually succeeds, and I'm always really excited for him. But I thought it might be nice, because I know some of our listeners care about trophies, Jake, that maybe we could run down some of the trophies, our platinums specifically. I don't care about the other ones. The platinum trophies we have gotten, over the years, and some of the more notable games. I mean, if you want to run through the list, there is a site that you can check this on in a more easy way. You cannot filter your trophies on the PlayStation app, or I think on the PlayStation console. Like, you can't filter by I want to see all my platinum trophies. And I don't think that's an option. So that will be kind of a nice thing to integrate, but there is kind of a roundabout way of doing it. You have to have your privacy settings set to anyone can see your trophies and the games you're playing. Mine was previously set to friends or friends of friends. So I used to be able to get my information this way, but I couldn't recently for the show, which is why I was thumbing through my phone through all of the trophies I've earned on all of the PlayStation games. I have trophies to find my platinums while we were doing the podcast, because we wanted to get the show out as soon as possible to you guys, because we felt bad about being a little late on it. But I guess the thing is, you can go to PSN Trophies, I believe is what it was called, right? PSN Profiles. PSN Profiles. And
we should probably just mention quickly that, hey, if you've got a PS5, chances are your fucking PSN Profiles doesn't work anymore, and you have to change your privacy settings, because
this is the
I
issue.
had to do this, and I know Fred's struggling with this right now. Is that before I got my PS5, I could go to psnprofiles.com, type in my PSN ID, go to my thing, see all my trophies, do all that shit. As soon as I got my PS5, there's a privacy setting that locks your trophies from public view, and it prevents PSN Profiles from being able to see them. So from that point forward, you can no longer view your trophies on psnprofiles.com. So what you have to do is you have to go to your account and set it to so that anyone can view your activity, your gaming activity, as opposed to have it be friends only or private or whatever. And then after that, you have to earn a trophy and then go to psnprofiles.com and update your account, and then you'll have access to it. It's really fucking annoying, but that's what I had to do to get mine to go. And I'm glad I did it before we did the show, because otherwise I'd be in Fred's boat and not be able to see my fucking trophies.
And you would have been visually absent from the show, just looking down at your phone the whole time I was talking, like I did to you so rudely. But it was for the benefit of our show, so I do apologize that I was not making eye contact. But I do have my list, and I did just update my PSN profile, and hopefully it updates so I can just pull them on here more easily. But I did start updating it. So what I wanted to do is just talk about, now I'm not as heavy of a hitter as Jake is when it comes to his trophies, the platinums. I know, Jake, you made a point.
I'm not even that much. I'm not even that.
Yeah, but some of yours are pretty damn impressive, especially that Diablo one. But I guess so. My most recent trophy was MLB The Show 2021. It could be arguably a difficult trophy to get. For me, I just enjoyed playing it all summer, so I just kind of naturally got them. There were some I had to work towards. I cheesed 2 of them with my buddy LJ, who we were talking about, and he helped me get a couple that were just never going to happen intrinsically or naturally while I played the game. It's just wearing Astros Playroom, got that one. PS5, first PS5 game, had to platinum it. The First Division, that's kind of an accomplishment. That was a tough one. That was a slog. Horizon, the original Horizon game, Zero Dawn, got the trophy on that. Back to The Witcher, Thronebreaker, which was the Gwent game, but it's like a standalone game that was story-based and really rad that I don't think Jake ever played, but I think he would fucking love it if he did. I know Sarah would love this, but it's called Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales. I platinumed that, which was not easy. might I add. Marvel Spider-Man, Uncharted Lost Legacy, Life is Strange Before the Storm, which I believe is this Life is Strange, the DLC for the first Life is Strange. Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that had a platinum. It says maybe that's both of them, but it came up as Life is Strange Before the Storm. The Invisible Hours was a PSVR game that was very Clue-like. It was a really interesting game. I think I might have talked about it. Your VR, you are kind of like an invisible presence, and it's all, the whole game is a QuickTime game. The whole game is one big QuickTime scenario that plays out for like, I don't know how long, but depending on where you position yourself in the house, on the property, it's a murder mystery. You have to figure out what happened, who killed this person. So it's a really interesting game. I loved it. The Invisible Hours, really fun. And you had to see all the dialogue, all the different things. Very cool way to integrate VR into a murder mystery. This game was really special. Got the platinum of that. Batman, it's just called Batman. I don't know what Batman that is. Got the platinum. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, the Telltale series, which is kind of a cheap one, but it was a great game. Fantastic. Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception, Uncharted 2, Among Thieves, Uncharted Drake's Fortune. I don't have Uncharted 4 Platinum yet. The Walking Dead, A New Frontier, kind of cheap, but I got it. Infamous Second Son, and then the first Walking Dead Telltale game. So those are the ones that I was able to find of my own. So
you said you had 20?
Yeah, dude. It says 20 on my PlayStation app. I'm actually able to go into it now. They're all on here now. But yeah, what about you, Jake?
So I don't know that I'm gonna run through all my fucking trophies, but I have 27 platinums. And I'll just talk about like some of the more interesting ones.
How do you search for trophies on here?
So like recently in the PS5 cycle, the platinums I've gotten are obviously Fred mentioned Astra's Playroom. And that was a pretty easy platinum. And then I got the Bug Snacks platinum.
Ooh, yeah.
Immortals Phoenix Rising. I got the platinum in that. I got the platinum in Miles Morales, and I got the platinum in Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. So those were basically the platinums I got recently. But some of my most proud platinums that I would say that I've gotten, probably the platinum that I would say I might be the most proud of is the Doom platinum, the Doom from 2016 platinum, or potentially probably Diablo 3 is another one because that platinum is just a fucking slog to get. Because you have to level every single class to level 70, and you have to level a nightmare, whatever the one is that's permadeath. If you have to level one of those characters to level 70, which is, imagine trying to max out a character level and you can't die one time. Otherwise, you got to start over. I'm sorry. The other one that I was thinking of that I would say is a pretty
excuse me.
The Last of Us, the first Last of Us, I think was a really interesting platinum. The platinum for the first Uncharted, just because that, like I mentioned already, that the crushing playthrough on the first Uncharted is fucking impossible.
Yep.
I have some interesting platinums in here that I think are pretty cool. Like I have 2 platinum trophies for Skyrim, one for PS3, one for PS4, and apparently I'm on my way to one for PS5 as well. So I could get a 3rd platinum for Skyrim. I could get 4 platinums for Skyrim total if I did it on PSVR as well, which is insane. I'm never going to be able to sit through Skyrim in VR for that long to be able to get a platinum in that, but that's just kind of interesting. My rarest platinum is for Headlander, which I completely forgot about this game. Headlander is fucking awesome.
You talked so much about this game when you were in the throes of it. You always brought up
I know. It is, but if people weren't listening back then when I was playing, because I got this in 2018, so it's been a few years.
Yeah.
Headlander I think it was one of those, there was like an original trio of games, I think, that were published by Adult Swim. I don't know if you remember this. Adult Swim came out. And,
for sure.
They were like, oh, we're going to publish games now or whatever. And one of them was like this game, Headlander, which is like a Metroidvania, but you're literally like a disembodied head that flies around the space station and can take over like android bodies. And it's so good. Like for a downloadable, like $20 game, PSN game, it is really, really good. So I assume that like there are probably sales where you can get this game for probably $5. And if you can, I would highly recommend. That's my rarest platinum. It might not be rarest by percentage. Let's see, what's the rarest by percentage? Now to be fair, caveat, this is percentage on PSN profiles.
How do you find your rarest trophy on here? I want to do it. Oh, rarity.
On PSN, or can you do it on PSN? Are you in PSN profiles?
Yeah, you can go to.
Or are you talking about on your account?
PSN profiles on your account. On your account, you can see your ultra rare trophies. I've got my 6.
So my rarest platinum by a half decent margin is The Last of Us Part 1. That's my rarest platinum, not my rarest trophy. My second rarest platinum is the first Dishonored, which was a fucking awesome. Like, I loved the first Dishonored game. One of the coolest trophies of that game that I thought was really fun because it suits my play style is you have to beat the game without being seen. So you have to beat the entire game without being detected one time by any enemy.
Yeah.
And I think there might even be one where you have to do it without killing a single person. So, but I think I kind of combined them where I wasn't seen and I didn't kill anybody. So like that was a pretty interesting one. My third most rare, and that'll be where I stop, is Bioshock Infinite. That's my third rarest platinum.
I don't have any rare platinums, but I have some really fucking rare trophy achievements. Really?
Like what?
Like, so I'm looking at PSN profiles, so you can sort your trophies by rarity, and I picked ultra rare all trophies. And on December 27th, 2014 at 1:33 a.m., we're going back, I got Tails Master in Pinball Arcade, and there's 132,957 owners of the game, and only 3,831 people have unlocked this trophy. So it's a 2.8% of players got it, which is...
Do you want to know what my rarest is?
Yeah, I want to hear it.
I'll tell you because I didn't technically earn it myself.
Yeah, let's hear it.
My rarest trophy is Zumba Hero. And it's from a PS3 Zumba game. Yeah. For those of you unfamiliar with the topic of Zumba, it's a type of workout where you like dance to music. And I had a Zumba game for PS3 that my wife, then girlfriend or fiance at the time, was playing. And it's called Zumba Hero, and it's to complete all the 45-minute classes.
I love that this is on your profile.
And a total of 132 people have achieved this trophy.
132.
So, yeah,
that's good.
So it's like 1 point something percent is what the rarity is.
Go ahead.
In terms of ones that I've actually earned myself, rarest trophies are
these are interesting.
Little Big Planet karting. You remember that game?
Yeah, I do.
I got a trophy for doing a multiplayer match in Little Big Planet karting, and that's because nobody played that game.
That's your trophy, just doing an online match?
with I think I was like, you have to hold on, let me see what it is.
Come on, that's cheap.
Invite 3 other players into your play group.
Oh shit.
So I actually invited people to play. It was like me and my wife and my brother and my sister-in-law all played together. But like the next rarest trophy that I have is my Last of Us Platinum.
Oh yeah,
which is at 4.2%.
Yeah.
So
I know one of those other people that have that.
And I have one of my my 4th rarest, because like I'm just looking at like the homepage.
It's such an interesting site. You guys need to go check this for yourself. It's so cool.
It's really cool. Like fix your privacy settings so you can view your account on PSN profiles. It's just interesting statistics.
Yeah.
Like my 4th rarest trophy is a trophy from a what would you call it? Like a cult classic of PS. This is awesome. Warhammer 40K Space Marine.
Oh yeah.
The trophy is Librarian of Macragge, Macragge.
Sounds right.
It's a trophy from that game, which is collecting all of the servo skulls, which was a collectible in that game.
That's cool.
And then my 5th. So there's only 5 in like the kind of sneak peek it shows you for rarest trophies.
Yeah.
My 5th is Epic Session for Rocksmith 2014.
Oh.
Which is Rocksmith is that game where you can plug like a real guitar into it and you can like play and stuff. And I got it because I was interested in doing. They have some really, really interesting tools, like training tools for like learning scales,
lessons,
learning improvisation and stuff, which I was interested in exploring. So there's a trophy called Epic Session where you have to do a jam session where you play for 60 minutes straight, and which is 1 hour straight. You have to keep playing for an hour straight on this jam session thing to get this trophy. So that's my 5th rarest trophy.
That's a good one. I'm going to double back and tell the listeners about 2 more that I earned that I'm really, really proud of when it comes to rarity. And then we're going to go to stats real quick after this, Jake. So pull up your stats page real quick. But while we're Pinball Arcade, I was super, super into this game. Super into Pinball Arcade for a long time. And in fact, I held a world record on it for a day. I had like the highest score in Pinball Arcade for like a day or something. And it was on the Gorgar table. So there's 244 achievers of this, and it is complete the wizard goals on Gorgar. And now, granted, there's only about 1,900 owners, but only 244. So to own the Gorgar table, you had to be like, I want the Gorgar table, right? So these are people who are interested in this pinball table. And of the 1,876 people that specifically paid for this pinball table, I am of the 244 people that actually got all of the goals on that table. It's a really fucking hard table. So I'm proud of that one. And then my other one was, there was a game that was a plus game called Sine Moria. And it was like an old 1942 style top-down airplane game. And there's about 9,000 owners. And it was called Tempest Nemenem Mene. And I was promoted to Master Sergeant in this game. And there's only 251 achievers of that one. So that's a rare one that I was super proud of. Very difficult game. And then there are some other ones, games that had a ton of players, like VR Worlds. Had 110,000 players, only 3,000 got it, and it was complete all the shooting gallery challenges, which were really tough. And then the latest Star Wars Squadrons game, I destroyed the cruiser at Cavus without any backup, which was a crazy accomplishment considering I only played that game in VR, and probably the majority of people haven't played it in VR and didn't do it. So it was pretty wild that I got that trophy and that many people didn't. So go to statistics real quick, and then we're going to wrap up the show, talk about the new games, and then wrap things up pretty quick. But I'm just curious, Jake, when you go to stats and you scroll down a little ways, what time, the very last bar chart there, what time are you earning most of your trophies? I just want to know what your time is, because I'm really surprised by the time that my trophies are popping.
So I actually don't understand this chart, and I wonder if it's in GMT. because it doesn't make sense if it's not.
Yeah, I don't
Do you understand
know.
what I mean?
I don't know. Yeah, but
It has to be in GMT.
Yeah.
Because if you shift everything by 5 hours or whatever it is for us, because we're GMT +5, I think is where we're at. So if you shift everything by 5 hours,
it says what your current time zone is. If you scroll up a little bit, it says your time zone is currently set to UTC. What is UTC time?
Yeah, so UTC is probably
Universal time code.
Universal time.
Yeah.
Which is GMT.
So you're saying it's 5 hours earlier.
It looks like, according to Google, UTC is the successor to Greenwich Mean Time, which is GMT.
Yeah.
So
we've all learned something.
It is. If you're on, you're talking about, that place in England where they have the fucking line. It's like, this is where like day one, like the day splits because the time zone starts over.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is GMT. So
what time?
So we're
is
5 hours behind that.
Okay.
And if you look at mine, so it says that I earned my most trophies.
Okay.
At, according to GMT, 11 a.m. and 2 a.m.
Oh.
Which basically what that means in Eastern time is
6 in the morning.
What is, so like 6 in the morning or
10 or 9 at night.
Or 9 at night. Yeah. So those are the two times that I earn the most trophies.
So mine is straight up 8 and 9 o'clock. So that's
at night.
Yeah. I'm a nighttime gamer. Originally, it said 2 a.m. and I was like, man, that's crazy. Like they must be pulling back from some of my younger days. You know what I mean? But that makes more sense with the time code. But yeah, I highly recommend you guys going to psnprofiles.com. Check it out. We're not sponsored or anything by them. It's just such a rad. It's a shame that PlayStation doesn't break this shit down for you. Like you can't just access this information, because it is really, really, and they give you the estimate how many trophies per day you earn, how many unearned trophies you have, your total completion of trophies that you have earned. My trophy rank right now is 369, so that's not bad, I don't think. My total. What's your trophy rank?
336.
Okay, yeah. So I probably have more cheese trophies. They're just simple ones, games I've started never finished. Let's get on to the new games, guys.
I think to be fair too, like, because another thing you can check on this page is trophy progression.
Yeah,
you can see where your trophies start. And for me, it starts on January 13th of 2010. And I'm assuming yours starts earlier.
Where do you see that at?
So trophy progression, right above trophies by time.
Under stats?
Yeah. So there's like the color wheels.
Mine starts October 27th, 2008.
Yeah, so you had a 2-year head start on me.
That's right, buddy.
Because I didn't buy a PS3.
That's how I told you about Uncharted.
I didn't buy a PS3 and also got a PSN ID until the Slim came out.
Yeah,
which was 2009.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
Late 2009.
That's a testament how long we've been playing the PlayStation consoles. 2000. Whatever mine said versus whatever you use. Let's get to new games. Farming Simulator 2022. November 22nd was released. So we're going to tap into some of these that we didn't go through. November 23rd, and Jake, here's a game that you said was interesting. Death's Door on PS5, PS4 came out. Cold Silence on PS4, Alpine simulation game. Let's Sing 2022. Tilting Tiles on PS4, and Together, TWO-gether. Project Indigos on PS4. It's always a bad idea to name your game shit like that, because if you're like, go to together.com, people don't know what the fuck to type. Anyways, November 24th, Drizzle Path, Deja Vu, Fishing North Atlantic, Lorn Sword, Winter Chronicle, Strike Force 2, Terrorist Hunt. November 25th, Deer Simulator, Nostalgic Train, Space Elite Force 2 in 1. Interesting. November 26th was Bus Driver Simulator Countryside, Formula Retro Racing, Gardenia Prologue, Instant Sports Paradise, a lot of fucking games, Merrick's Market, Night Strike preventive strike, not preventative. It's preventive strike. Sushi Break 2, Sushi Break 2 head to head, Void Gore, Windlands 2, and then it says December 2nd, Asterisks in Obelix, Slap Them All. This game actually looked really cool. I don't know if you saw anything about this. This is a beat 'em up game, and the art style is all like hand drawn. It's really cool looking. Asterisks in Obelix, Slap Them All looks awesome. That comes out December 2nd. Cricket 22, the official game of the Ashes, and then Solar Ash, and then Chorus with a V, Chorvs, but it's spelled Chorus on the list, so I don't know if you want to search for that game. It's like a flight game. It looks awesome. Chorus looks rad.
So Solar Ash is the next game from that developer that did that game Hyperlight Drifter,
correct,
which a lot of people liked.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe keep an eye out for that if you liked Hyperlight Drifter.
Yeah.
But there's
some games there.
A lot of, I wonder what Deer Simulator is. Like, coming from the perspective of someone who lives in rural Pennsylvania, I just imagine like you just walk around eating people's crops and getting hit by cars. Like, that's literally all I imagine you doing. And then maybe like hiding from hunters fucking 2 weeks out of the year.
Deer Simulator.
Or I guess technically if you're an archery hunter, it would be a month and 2 weeks out of the year.
Is Deer Simulator that you're actually a deer? Yeah, your average everyday deer game. Deer Simulator is a game where you take on the role of your average everyday deer, use your stretchy neck, your stabby horns, and everything a deer has in its arsenal to tear through the city. I have no clue. Forget about it, I don't even know. But yeah, if it were around here, it would be like, watch out for cars, watch out for poachers, watch out for, it'd be like, don't starve, get your buck rub on, eat the berries, all that stuff. Yeah, interesting. But yeah, so anyways, Jake, that's all. This is a long show. And if Jake and I went on too long about our trophies, and if we went on too long about game difficulties, just bear in mind, we're freestyling for you today. And I didn't know our conversations were going to get that crazy and that long, but I hope that you found something interesting in it. I hope you learned about the PSN profile site. It's interesting. I hope that you learned a little bit about the time zones from Mr. Jake Peters. And I also hope that you have something to say about playing games on easy difficulty. If you want to write in about the show, to the show about that, PS This Is Awesome at gmail.com, or tweet us at PS This Is Awesome at gmail. And as promised, Jake, between now and the new year, we are going to grace our listeners with a Christmas song that both you and I wrote called 'Tis the Season in NWPA, which stands for Northwest Pennsylvania, and performed by Fred Oakman and the Flood. So you can stream the song on your favorite streaming platform after you listen to it now, and just keep streaming the shit out of it so we get all kinds of that royalty money, like pennies on the stream, man, half cents on the streams. But yeah,
I was gonna say, I don't think you're getting pennies on the stream.
No, you're not. No,
you might get
a fraction.
You might get like
penny.
a tenth of a penny.
Yeah, per stream, which is pretty accurate. To be look it up, it's pretty real. That's how it works. But yeah, so that's
one of these days. We'll have to write. We'll have to write another Christmas song.
Yeah, we need to, and put out a 7-inch record for next year as a special holiday thing, and make people buy the vinyl. That'd be fun. Digital download would be great. We're gonna do it. But yeah, enjoy the song, and from our families to yours. I hope you had a nice Thanksgiving, and we will be back next week. Stay safe out there. Enjoy your gaming. Don't forget, be a part of this show. If you're listening, write us. We like to hear from you. We really do. Comment on the YouTube channel. Write us an email. Tweet at us. We love seeing that stuff. Be well out there, guys. So like Hades, Hitman, and Heavy Rain. P.S. This is awesome.
Awesome.
Northwestern Pennsylvania. I lost my